Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Support Black Business TV. This is episode 94. And today we have Mark from ME Creative Agency. He's obviously one of our members of Black Folk Hotspots, as you should be. If you're a Black business owner, you're a Black professional, you should be a member of Black Folk Hotspots. And so that way we can introduce your business to our network of over 300,000 people and put you into our rotation to where we're constantly putting your business in front of people in rotation. So now you're working, plus we're working. So like we like to say, our business is yours. And that's just our business. That's what we do. Your network plus our network equals even a larger network for you. So Mark is joining us today from Connecticut. Is that Stratford? I want to say yes.
Yep, Stratford.
Now, Stratford. Okay, so where is Stratford, Connecticut?
Stratford, Connecticut.
As far as
go ahead. Stratford, Connecticut is right in the middle of the state. So if you're traveling north from New York, because Connecticut is between New York and Boston. So if you're traveling from New York, we're about halfway. The big state that most people know is Bridgeport, Connecticut. So we're the small, I guess, town after, which is called Stratford, Connecticut, and about 20, 30 minutes away from Hartford, which is the capital of Connecticut.
Okay, because I know that, and I'm sure I'm from the Midwest, and
Yep.
I'm from Guaranteed, which is 30 minutes from Chicago.
Yep.
So I know that I may have a little accent, but I hear the accent. I can always tell like the East Coaster accent. I don't know if it's a Connecticut accent or New York accent or a Boston accent, but it's all a little bit different.
My accent, but I'm originally born in Haiti, so that's probably a little bit what you hear. I got the islands in me, so I came over when I was about 10 years old, so that's probably what you hear. I'm usually pretty good at hiding.
What's funny is we might be family now. I've never lived in Haiti. I've never visited Haiti, but my grandmother, and her family, my grandmother's family is from Haiti.
Okay.
So, and I figure that us Black people, for some way, somehow, in a certain degree, we're all related anyway. You know what I mean? So,
funny story. Why you talk about that? My grandfather was a Rolling Stone. So my mom has told me that she has about, I don't know, like maybe about 50 to 100 brothers and sisters that she didn't even meet yet, from her father's side. So there's a real possibility, and I always joke that I would never marry a Haitian because they might be my cousin.
Right. Exactly. It's funny to tell people that, it's like, look, explain something to you. We all Black people, we related some way somehow because they, when the slavery thing deal, they dropped us off anywhere there was water. Yeah. And so everywhere, and it's always funny. Yeah. My daughter's in London right now, and I be like, hey, you see any Black people yet? And she always just be like, oh. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, count to 10, count the next 10 people. You tell me how many of those people are Black. That way I can get a percentage. But so tell us about your company. Tell us about what it is you do, how it came about, and just you got the floor. So I'm gonna let you have it.
Cool. First and foremost, I want to come out and present my business to you. We need this more as a people so that we could be able to network, because it's the network that's worth of value. So I want to give a tremendous thanks to you and your network of Black entrepreneurs for putting this platform together so that we can connect and share some of our resources. So shout outs to you, and my hats off is to you. And then also, our business is really a tremendous opportunity. Just to give you a little bit about my background, I graduated from the University of Connecticut. Everybody knows as UConn, with a big basketball team that's always winning national championship, especially for the women. UConn, but anyway,
right? That is true. Gino's a baller out there, man. He, you know
Yeah, he
what?
did.
I don't know what he does, how he do it,
Yeah.
you know. But each and every year, you know, it's like, what the heck, man? Are they feeding these girls steroids or I mean, because
I don't know. They be producing, they be putting that work though, man. So, I represent UConn. I graduated in 1999. And then I just moved to New York City. I had a friend that I met in college, and we're just real cool friends. So he invited me to come live with him in New York City, and so I just made my rounds working for the big agencies that you see out there. So the agencies that you see the commercials for, like Verizon and what is Ford, Subway. I work for those type of agencies, the world-renowned agencies. So I was just kind of making my round either as a freelancer, as a full-time art director, sometimes as a production artist. And so I got to kind of get to know the business from a lot of perspective. And so I did that for about 15 years or so. And then my last job was I was actually the interactive content manager for Time Warner Cable's corporate office. So what that is whatever went on the website, it had to go through me and my team. So I was working with people like HBO, Showtime. So whenever they wanted their content on the corporate website, I would be speaking to them and politicking with them. And so, it was a great opportunity. And so, but I kept making my rounds, and also I had a calling for ministry too, which is another thing we could talk about as far as my book is concerned, because I'm a Christian author. And so for about 5 years ago, I just gave up design and advertising and everything, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to follow this call to ministry. And so I moved to Alabama actually for about 4 years. But that didn't quite work out well. So while I was down there, I was contemplating. I was like, okay, what do I need to do now? And then I realized, you know what? I've been working for these companies. I have a lot of knowledge in my head about how this is supposed to work. And so I was like, let me start my own agency down there in Alabama while I was down there. And I just kind of kicked around the idea, did a business plan, put a business plan together, and kind of talked to other entrepreneurs about their success. And then I just kept finding the trend that a lot of entrepreneurs are telling me, especially the successful ones are telling me that most entrepreneurs need a 5-year turnaround. It's a 5-year process. Most people want to get that money the first year, the second year, but it doesn't work that way. It's a 5-year process of constantly working and tweaking, and finally around 5 years, that's when you start seeing some profits usually. But there's other opportunities that you get it quicker, but for the most part, the process is about 5 years. And so I just kind of contemplated that. I was like, okay, what are they doing to make them take that long? And I started thinking about back on my days in the agency world in New York, and I was looking at it and saying, you know what does these companies like the Verizons and the Fords and the Subways have that small entrepreneurs don't have? And I was like, oh, common sense. They have an advertising agency. They have an agency that they can call whenever they want to make a new product or market to a new customer base. They just call that agency and say, you know what, I need X, Y, and Z, and then the agency works with the client to come up with a strategy, and then they go and attack that customer base that they're looking for. Entrepreneurs don't think that way, and so entrepreneurs, they just go out and we're gonna try to do it ourselves. We're gonna try to tell our friends and our family, and our friends, our family is gonna tell other people. That works to a certain extent, but you're not gonna get the reach and outreach that you want. Even if you do use the social media, you're gonna use the social media for the people you know, but how do you go beyond the people you know? And so I saw a tremendous opportunity to create an agency for entrepreneurs the same way that the big brands have their own agency. And also, of course, I'm working with entrepreneurs. The budget is not going to be the $1 million and triple $1 trillion budgets that those big agencies are working with. And so, using the same quality of work, because I work for those agencies, and the same quality of work for a manageable budget and a strategic plan to get them to where they need to get to, hopefully quicker than 5 years. And so I decided, you know what do I need to call this agency? Masterfully Executed Creative Agency. So that's what me stand for, Masterfully Executed, and then Creative Agency. So me, Creative Agency. It's me, So if it's about your business, then it's about me. It's about masterfully executing whatever business plan that you are proposing or whatever product you're proposing. And so that's the birth of the agency, Masterfully Executed Creative Agency. And also, it has a spiritual connotation too, because I am Christian. I believe in the master creator. And so master creator, who gives me my creativity, there's also that spin on it as well. So it's a double spin based on the two sort of entities that Mark Estamil is. So Mark Estamil is a Christian author, spiritual person, as well as a creative advertiser that knows how to reach a certain market group. So that's what Masterfully Executed is all about, or Me Creative, ME Creative Agency.
That's is interesting in your path and why you did what you did, because it's so funny because even though I did this on my own, but before I had read this, but a few years ago I was reading. Actually, Mark Cuban has a blog that he he posts to it maybe once or twice a year or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's like Jay-Z's annual tweet,
Yeah.
But when he posts,
Yeah.
it's always something profound. Just like you learn from working, with multi-billion-dollar company or million-dollar companies. I myself as an entrepreneur, one of the things that I've done, over years is, and this came from my when I was in college, I was at Purdue. My very first business class, management class, and the professor, he said on the first day of class, he said, who in here is taking this class because they want to own their own business? Raise your hands. And about half the room, their hands went up. And he said, keep your hands up if you want to know how to create a successful business. And, obviously everybody kept their hands up.
Yep.
Yeah, because what I'm about to tell you, you can take what I tell you and leave this class right now and go to the Bursar's office and withdraw from school. Yep. Totally.
Yep.
And at that point I'm like, you know what I mean? Like you got my attention here.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And his response was this, or the following was this. He said, go read, 10, 15, 20 books of successful entrepreneurs, their autobiographies, because they all have written their stories. They all have written where they came from, the pitfalls, the fears, and their successes. He said, what's going to happen is if you read 10 books of 10 successful entrepreneurs, it's all the input all comes into your brain, and the output is you mixing all those different things together.
Yeah.
He's like, and then go into the community where you want to open your business, find the most successful business in that community, and open one just like it.
Yep.
Across the street.
Yeah.
And he said, you study that business, you find out obviously what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. You do more of what they're doing right and less of what they're doing wrong, and you got guaranteed success.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
And so listening to you made me think about that story. It is because you've worked in these corporations, you've seen what they do, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm already doing this. Yeah. Like I was just talking to one of my buddies, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me if you feel the same way sometimes, where you're talking to people and they're saying, oh man, I'm not getting paid enough. I'm not getting paid what I'm worth. I'm not, they taking advantage of me and this, that, and the other. And they tell you about all these different things, and you go, well, why don't you do this and this and this and this or this? And then it's all like, oh man, I don't want to do that. And you're like, well, what the hell are you complaining for?
Yeah.
Because it's obviously you love what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's a safety blanket too. It's a safety blanket, the safety net. And a lot of people don't want to jump. I just came from a seminar not so long, because I'm always like you said, I'm always going to learn. And then the seminar was for stock market. And the guy said, okay, listen, if you want to be successful in the stock market, I'm going to tell you what I did. I quit, and he was successful. He's like, I took away the ship, and I was everybody in the class was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I decided that I was going to be successful at this, and so I literally took away the ship, and so the safety net that he had, the job that he had, you know, he's like, I completely got rid of it, and I made myself at risk, you know." And then he jumped in the water with shark infested people, and so when he jumped in the water and the shark infested people and all those things, he had to learn on the spot, you know. And then when he's learning on the spot, he no longer has that safety net. It's either he's going to sink or you're going to swim, you know. And so to your point about those people that, oh man, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, and you know, but I don't want to really do anything about it because they feel safe. And I had to learn that too, because when I first came out of school about 5 years, the dot-com crash. I came out of school around 1999. When I came out of school, young kid coming out of school, I was making boku dough, and I didn't know what it is not to be successful. You know what I mean? And then the dot-com just went like this, crash. For 5 years straight, I was struggling. And so I decided to start my own agency before, Estamil's Design at the time. And when things started getting shaky, I started to look for jobs applications because I needed that safety net. And so I jumped back into the workforce. And so now I learned that lesson from the first time, because things are always not going to be sweet for entrepreneurs. You know that. You know, there's going to be times where you're going to have to eat some bread and water. You're going to have to, you know, even humble yourself and even ask to borrow. That's just, you know, part of the struggle. You know, and like you said, every entrepreneur went through it. Jay-Z could tell you he went through it. Kanye West went through it. You know, before they became successful, they had that struggle that they had to deal with. Mark Cuban, I'm sure the same too. I never read his book, but I'm sure. And so that's part of the process. So are you willing to go through that struggle to get to the end of the prize? Most people are not. And so that's the difference between, are you going to be successful or not? Because are you willing to jump ship? Are you willing to get rid of your safety net? And a lot of people, that's a hardcore no for them.
Absolutely, it is, and that's one of the things that gets me, because I've gotten to the point where, you know, people say, "Oh, you're arrogant," or "You're this." I'm like, no, I'm actually not. I'm just sick of hearing you complain about the same thing, and my brain doesn't work around problems. My brain works strictly on solutions. So I can't even, you know, if you tell me something, and my friends know, don't talk to me about anything, because I'm going to instantly come up with a solution. Or it may not be the right solution, but it's always geared towards solving your problem.
Yes.
You know, my city is struggling bad, Gary, Indiana, and you know, and I keep telling people, you know, I don't know, but there's a solution. And you got a 90% black city, and we complain about white people, but ever since I've been born, I was born in 1972, we've had a black mayor.
Yeah.
Except for like 3 years or 4 years, we had a white mayor, and he quit.
Yeah.
Quit in the middle of the ship. Yeah. Right? He was like, "Hey, this don't pay me enough." And I was like, the school system's failing, the population is declining, you know, the median income is piss poor. And I'm like, listen, you can't if you want to fix your city, fix your school system. Because a person like me with you know, with a child, or people like me that's planning on having kids, you know, that's the first thing they're going to look for. I said, you go to an appraisal report on for a house. On the first page, it says schools, school districts, shopping, proximity to highways, things like that. Those are why is that on the first page of appraisal, even before they even show you the house, right? Because that's what people who are looking to own a home want to know.
Of course.
So if you got people would move into a piss poor neighborhood if they have excellent schools and they have school age children.
Yeah.
They would move in the middle of a war zone.
Yeah.
They do it in Chicago all the time. They're like, wait a minute, this school district is an A1 school district, but my kid might get killed walking to school. But you know what? We're gonna take that risk. If I gotta pick them up and drop them off or whatever. But and I said, think about it. So parks, you build a school system. Now you'll start to get more home ownership. Now, once you get more home ownership, you'll get more property taxes, right?
It makes sense.
That's how you rebuild. Because if you complain about money, the money is going to come from property taxes. And then you work on, then what's going to happen is once you start getting home ownership, the businesses will come back. Because now they're like, hey, there's people here in this neighborhood, so I'm going to open my storefront. I'm going to open up. Instead of getting, the Airborne gas stations and the Dunkin' Donuts and the 7-Elevens. I know this sounds really, really bad, but it's the truth.
It is. Yeah. It makes
and I
sense.
say, dang, if you guys don't think about that, if you just focus on, and I know that you guys have bigger fish to fry, but at the end of the day, you grow a city by property taxes. If I listen to Dr. Claude Anderson. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but I listen to him a lot. And he said, you can blindfold me, put me in any city in this world, and let me just drive my car down the street. I can tell you what type of areas, and if all the roads are bumpy and they need repairing, I already know this is a declining city, and the people are not paying property taxes and this, that, and the other, because property taxes pay for those things.
Yeah. Well, New York got big problems.
Yeah. So let's get back to the creative, agency, because it's something that one of my buddies who's a photographer rather, into photography. That's something he's really been pushing towards. He said, man, we don't have our own ad agencies. We need to create those things, and I say to him all the time, I said, listen, with us, a lot of times with small business owners, and you mentioned it a little bit, you touched on it, we don't feel as though we need these things. And I try to tell people all the time, you don't really realize. I was thinking about this today. I had to go to the store real quick, and I was like, how many times you pass a billboard and you don't realize? I take that back. Let me rewind. I was listening to the radio, and a Tony song came on that I hadn't heard in years. Right? Okay. Matter of fact, it's not even a popular one that I even listened to back in the day in the 90s when I was, or say 93 or 94 when Tony came out. I think it was that one. It was on a CD with "It Never Rains in Southern California." It was on that CD, and I rocked that CD all the time, right? Yeah. And it was one of those songs that was just on the CD, Yeah. But there was a little part in it, and I caught myself singing that portion. I knew exactly when it was gonna hit. Yeah. And I said, that's because I heard this over and over and over again, and it stuck. That's that little piece, which is the same thing billboards do, which is why what you do is important. And now why we at Black Folk Hotspots, that's what I created it for, because I came out of almost the same background. I came out of the same things. I've worked for a bunch of different companies. People are like, man, you've had a lot of jobs. Yes, because since I was 10 years old, I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Same here.
The issue is I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I've made money doing a lot of different things, and I would get bored and just quit. Like, whatever. And what I found out, and I didn't realize this, was why that was happening, because people was like, man, what happened to this? And what happened? You were making good money. You was doing this. I was like, yeah, but I was bored. So I didn't have a passion. Yeah. It was no passion, which couldn't keep me through my boredom periods and money. And I'm like, I have this notion that no matter what, I always can make money. You can drop me in any city in America, give me, as long as you give me, housing somewhere where I can, a roof over my head, I'll make it work. Within 3 months, I'm gonna be up and running, guaranteed.
To your point about having a passion, I just finished posting a blog on LinkedIn about my own experience, about my career journey in entrepreneurship. I remember back and I wrote this in my blog back in 6th grade when you'd have to kind of share a desk with another student. I would make my desk to look like a little office desk, and so my desk would always have that sort of office space look to it. And people would always get upset at me. Like, why are you taking the construction paper? And, you know, I would do like the little calendar thing, and I would have my little pencil things, and, you know, and so she's like, why would you do that? And then I'm like, you know, I don't know what it is, but that was my passion. I knew someday I was going to work at a desk, and I wanted to be my own. And so it wasn't really fun for the other students that I was sharing my desk, but it was what I wanted to do. And fast forward again to when I was in college, when I was at UConn learning my trade, graphic design. I had a buddy of mine. We got together while we were learning. We said, let's start up an agency together. And we put the agency together. We picked up 1 or 2 clients, you know, and we thought, okay, we're going to go ahead and we don't need to work for people. We're just going to get out of school and start, you know, having our own business. Of course, when you graduate college, your buddies in college, you kind of lose touch. And so that didn't work out, you know. And so, you know, you when you have that passion in you, it's something that's going to drive you to keep going forward. And so it brought me to this journey now. I'm 40 years old. And it brought me to that journey. And I can think back to 6th grade when I was, I don't know, what are you in 6th grade? 12, 13? I don't know what it is. But, you know,
Right.
Back in that journey, that's where that, you know, I had that passion in me already. And so you're playing about branding. Let me jump over to the branding part as far as that Tony song you were talking about. And I illustrate this story or this illustration to a lot of my potential clients that are like, okay, what's really branding? Why is it important? Why do I need to spend money on this? I'm like, okay, let me paint a scenario for you. You're driving down the street and you're in your car, you're jamming, and all of a sudden you just drive by, all of a sudden you got a mood for some French fries. And you're like, why do I want some French fries? You know, you don't know why you want that French fry, but you got an urging for it. I'm like, let me tell you what just happened. While you were driving down the street, minding your own business, you're driving your car, minding your own business, you got a flash about a like, you see a billboard not a billboard, you actually see the store sign about 10 miles away or 5 miles away. You see the store sign, a big M. And then you don't know it, but McDonald's is actually going into your brain without you knowing it. And so the big M, if you look at the M, it's really French fries. The way that McDonald's have the design of the M, it's the shape of their French fries. And so when you go to you see that French fry, and it's embedded in your head, you want French fries. And then also, as you drive closer, you start smelling it. You know, McDonald's, if you go into your stores, and I'm using McDonald's a lot here, free promo. If you go into your store, you never smell the food. And when you go in the store at McDonald's, you don't smell the food inside. But when you outside, that thing is hitting you. And so you driving, your windows down, that smell comes up, and that's the way they designed it. They want the smell to go out the store, not in the store. And so when you out the store, that brings you in. And so now you got 2 things that attack your psyche. You got what you saw the logo, and also now you got the smell that's coming in. And then you all of a sudden you want French fries. When you go into the store now, you know, this is the step that they're dragging you in. When you go into the store now, you probably remember the commercial that they had a sale. And now you're gonna go buy whatever the commercial told you to buy, you know. And so after you buy whatever the commercial told you to buy, when you come to a store, no matter if you're McDonald's in Indiana, you said you're in Indiana, correct? Or whether you're McDonald's in Connecticut, they're always going to look the same, and they're going to say, hi, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order, please? You know, so McDonald's have a structure of things to say, no matter where you are, how they can capture you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is called branding. You know, and so if you do not have those things in place for yourself as far as the business is concerned, then you are out of luck and you are beyond a ball, because you are not going to get the same kind of effect and the same kind of consumers or clients or potential that you are looking for as a McDonald's would, because they went and thought about all those things, and that's why you're at this store.
You know, and that's the thing that, you know, I have with a lot of business owners, and you know, you put it in a McDonald's perspective, and that's good, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna steal that. More so, because I use that sometimes, but I use the arches, and I didn't necessarily think about the French fries and the M. But what I tell people is, you know, McDonald's has never made you, you know, you may think that McDonald's sell the worst food in America.
I'm about to say that too.
I guarantee you, I guarantee you that everybody knows where the nearest McDonald's is to their house.
There's a lot of burger places. There's a lot of burger
Yeah.
places that taste much better than McDonald's. We could all agree, and I'm not trying to bash McDonald's because I'm in the advertising
No.
industry, but there is a lot of better places. There's a lot of mom and pop shop. You go, you'll have a great burger experience. But the reason why you don't know about that burger experience is because you're not advertising, you're not branding, you're not doing all those things to get the people to know who you are. And so you could have a great burger, but if nobody knows who you have a great burger, you're just going to be a person that has a great burger that nobody knows about. McDonald's don't have to have a great burger. They have great marketing, they have great advertising, they have great branding. And so they're going to suck you in and you're going to eat that burger that's so nonchalant. Versus if he could be next door neighbor that has a burger joint next to McDonald's, they're not even threatened by that next door neighbor. Even though their burger might be better, they're not even threatened by them because at the end of the day, you're going to go to McDonald's because they attacked more people's psyche than you did. And so now, what do you need to do then now as an entrepreneur to keep up with that market? Let's talk about burgers. What do you need to do? How is your burger different? If you remember Eddie Murphy Coming to America, McDowell's, and so that's the way that business owner attacked it. It's actually pretty hard as far as branding is concerned because it took, like you said, the professor you talked about said, take something that's already there and go across the street and look at what they're doing better versus what they're doing wrong, and so that's what that McDowell concept is from Coming to America. And so we need to do that more. We don't need to call it McDowell because that's a little too close for comfort. But we need to do those same type of things so that we could better brand our products and services, because if we don't, somebody else is. And why not get share that market?
Exactly, and that's and I'm telling you, I appreciate this conversation on several different things because you're saying a lot of the things that I say, but you're putting them into a different perspective because that's your expertise. Like I tell people all the time, listen here, I don't know your business. I don't want to know your business. I get phone calls all the time like, hey, I got this idea. I'm like, look, but I need you to sign an NDA. And I'm like, dude, I don't want your business. Trust me. I got a million businesses in my head that's a spinoff of Black Folk Hotspots. And if you look through my goal book and my 10, 20, 30 legal pads worth of stuff, I got ideas that I've thought about. And yours is probably one of them that I thought about 10 years ago. It's just the fact that, I didn't have the dough to put it in place, but I had to write it down because you know what? You never know when it's going to come back up.
Yeah. I have the same things. Go ahead.
And to your point, I think that our biggest thing, and I'm sure that you're probably doing a good job of this, is, letting people know there's a difference between advertising, marketing, and branding, and not all of it is supposed to make a sale that day. And like I tell people, when I use the McDonald's thing, I say, listen, when McDonald's came out with their strawberry lemonade, right? You may not be a McDonald's fan, but you knew that they had a strawberry lemonade. Yeah. So on a hot summer day, you're like, you know what? Let me go try this strawberry lemonade. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There's a reason. McDonald's does not have to advertise or market or do anything. People know McDonald's. So, but they still spending money on advertising and marketing, as well as Walmart.
They're at an unfair advantage because they have the millions and billions of dollars in advertising money, and they hire the best of the best to come up with So they're at when you go up, if you open up a burger joint, you are at a disadvantage already because of the marketing dollar that they're about to put out, and so. That's where strategically, I looked at my agency. I was like, you know what? How can I put these small businesses, these entrepreneurs, in the same sort of spotlight within a reasonable budget? Especially now that we have a lot more resources than we had back in even 5-10 years ago. Talking about social media. So what I usually do, to talk about my process a little bit, I interview my potential clients. And if they don't want to sit through a half-hour interview or 45-minute interview, because it's a lot of questions. I have a new client questionnaire that they got to go through. If they don't want to sit through that, whether it's over the phone or face-to-face, it doesn't matter to me. If they don't want to sit through that, they're not serious. So that's usually my first filter. And then after they have the interview with me. after they have the first interview with me, the questionnaire, I see what kind of questions how they're answering the question. Did they think about their entrepreneur venture, or is this something that they just kind of thought about last night and I want to go ahead and do it? Depending on how you answer your questionnaire, then that's going to tell me how serious you are. And then that's usually my second filter. And so now I look at that questionnaire and I give them a proposal. And I give them a phase by phase, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then, to be honest with you, they could take that question, that proposal that I give them, because I give them details and step by step what I'm going to do. To be honest with you, they could take that proposal and say, you know what, I'm going to do it on my own. Fine, go ahead, do it on your own. I have a basketball and LeBron James has a basketball. They're the same basketball. Which one is more valuable, LeBron James basketball or my basketball? Which one knows how to use a basketball better, me or LeBron James? LeBron James, hands down, knows how to use the basketball better. So essentially, I'm giving you the basketball, and I'm telling you, okay, here is what we need to do. Now, here I am. I'm presenting myself as, I don't say that I'm like the expert of experts, but I know a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the basketball that I'm giving you, and I'm going to teach you how to play the right way. Hopefully, you will get to the point where you're LeBron James. Will it happen? There's a lot of kids out there that wants to be LeBron James, will never be LeBron James. But there's a coach out there that's helping them become LeBron James. And so that's what I am. I'm going to do not only coach, but I'm also going to execute the game plan for you. And all I'm asking you is to a commitment, just like those big agencies have commitment with their clients. A lot of entrepreneurs don't understand that concept because and big companies know that concept is valuable. It's like marketing is what, 75% of a company's budget or something crazy like that, and so they know that's valuable for their business to run. A lot of entrepreneurs don't say, well, what am I going to get anything in return? I'm like, well, eventually, that's what branding is. If you do branding, if you're successful as far as branding in one night, it's wrong because people are going to forget about you one night. Just like you're successful that one night, you're going to be forgotten the next night. If you have a long, steady stream of people building loyalty, I call it brand loyalty. If you have a long, steady stream of building that loyalty, then people are going to stick with you in the long run. Whether you're going up or whether you're going down, there's going to be that brand loyal customer that's going to be with you. And so that's what I teach my potential clients, that it's going to be a process, and it may not necessarily be something that you see within a month. But if you stick to the process, eventually, your chances, you can't guarantee anything in life, but your chances are greater than if you didn't take that necessary step.
It's funny. I was just having this conversation with my girl earlier about the stock market. Hence, you just came out of the investor meeting or the stock market meeting. Yeah. And I said, people look at the stock market. I can guarantee you what the stock market is going to do every day.
Yeah.
It's going to go up and it's going to go down. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. But what's happening though is over time it's steadily going up.
Yeah.
And over any 10-year period since, hypothetically speaking, since mutual funds have been in existence, yeah, they have averaged about a little bit over 11% rate of return over any 10-year period. That's including the market crash in '99. It's including the stock market, the big recessions. That's including the stock market crash in '87. All these different things, 9/11, everything that happened where you saw big dips in the market, and Bush's last days in office, in the big dips when it was dropping out like rocks. But if you over 10-year period, you're doing well because you're on an average thing. It's constantly going up. You look at the Dow Jones, it's like 18,000 right now. Whereas at the beginning of Barack's term, at the end of Bush's term, it was like in the 7 or 8s, and it had dropped. It was in the 12s, and it started to drop. And it's the same thing. So we hit on the same page with the branding, the marketing, and I tell people the same thing. I can't guarantee you anything. What I can guarantee you is people are going to see your business when it's on Black Folk Hotspots, because that's what I've created. I was an internet marketer by trade before I got into Black Folk Hotspots. I fell in love with the internet like in the mid-90s. Yeah. And in college, and
Yeah.
I actually had a computer I bought. Matter of fact, most of my partners would tell you I'm the first person that they knew with the computer at home, right? And that was like 95, 96 when, you know, you had like a 186 or whatever it was, and it was,
Yeah.
you know, it was $4,000 because
Yeah.
I was intrigued by it. I had the dough and I bought it. I was electronics freak, gadget freak, and you know, and I was like, wow. And I would just go on and on and on. And a 286 would come out, a 386 would come out, a 486 would come out, and I would, you know, go buy that computer and sell this one for cheap. Same thing I did with cell phones. But make a long story short, um, I kept saying to myself, there's money to be made on this thing. I just don't know how. And one of the things that you were hitting on earlier, and I wanted to interrupt you, but I didn't because you were flowing so well, was I think our main problem is that most of us are first generation business owners.
Yeah.
So what's happening is I can't go to my dad, my mom. I respect everything about them, but I know they're not going to understand the entrepreneur journey. You know, if I'm living, you know, and my parents know that I've been self-sufficient forever, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, and then but and I've made great money. I've been in the mortgage industry, I've been in the investment industry, I've been in the casino industry. I've made good money. You know, my mom used to be like, do you know you make more money than I do? I was making more money than my mom at 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and not anything slight, you know, but at you know, at 25 years old and you making 56, $57,000 in a job, you know, that was huge for me. I didn't have any bills. I didn't have any kids. And I spent a lot of it, but I also saved a lot because that was one thing that my dad always talked about was save money, this, that, and the other. And, you know, I was telling somebody the other day, when you save money, when you got money in your bank account, you know, I remember having, you know, $30,000, $40,000 saved, right? And I was working at a casino. This was about 20, I think I was about 28 then. And I said, I didn't like the way they were treating me. Matter of fact, more importantly, I didn't like the way they were treating the dealers. And I dealt dice.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the shift manager and saying, hey, man, I don't appreciate the way you guys are treating us. I don't appreciate being, you know, called off a vacation to come in for a meeting. I'm not going to do it. I'm on vacation. I'm not cutting my vacation short to come take a training class. If that training class can't be taken care of when I'm back off of vacation, then this is not the right place for me. Because what if I was in Florida? Are you going to say I'm fired because I can't take this because I'm on vacation? I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
And it was people literally coming back. And I told him, I'm not the one. I'll talk to y'all when I get back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, and then I told him, I said, I think this is not for me. And no more. And it was a new company took over. Harris had taken over Showboat. And Harris they was just like dogs. They treated you any old kind of way. And you know, he looked at me and he said, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I went home. I looked at my accounts. I said, I got $35,000 in the bank. Right. And I told my girl at the time, I said, I think I'm going to quit. She was like, you know what? Do what you got to do. You know, if that's what you feel you need to do, then do it. And because it was a risk. It was, you know, you make it 50 grand, and now all of a sudden tomorrow you're gonna go in and quit, and now you're not making that 50 grand. You know what I mean? It was just like that difference. And I was
Well,
like,
yeah. You know, it's like I said, you got to be able to jump
that's
the
safe.
ship, and you jump the ship. You know, and I went through a similar
Exactly.
experience. And, you know, when I got I got out of school, my boy hooked me up with some good jobs. You know what I mean? We met each other at school, but he was a year ahead, or a year or two ahead of me, and so he was able to kind of poly give me some good opportunities that I didn't even really have to work for. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate him for that. He's actually the godfather of my firstborn. You know what I mean? Because I appreciate what he did for me. And so, like you said, I was making more money than my parents ever did in my first job. You know what I mean? And so it was just like money was really nothing. And I got to a point. I'm married. My wife and I were a young couple. I was making so much money. She's a school teacher. All her money went through savings. Every single penny that she had that she was making, because we combine our income together, all the money that she was making went straight to the savings, and I still had enough to pay bills and I own a house, whatever, and also vacation and also do some things I wasn't supposed to be doing, because I was young,
Right.
and so,
Exactly.
and so money was dear at the time. I caveat that because the Lord, because I'm a big Christian now, the Lord looked at what the stuff that I was doing. He took all of it away from me. I'm not gonna lie. He took every single dime away from me that I had, and literally put me on flat on my face and like, okay, now what are you gonna do? And so now this is for me. I went through the two extremes to the point where I remember before I moved to Alabama, I used to, when I was making great money, I used to work at a soup kitchen at the church. And I used to look at those people like, what are you doing? Like, why can't y'all get a job and y'all, you got to come to, what God did to me, and this is where my Christianity comes in. What God did to me is he took everything away from me when I moved to Alabama, and he took everything away to the point where I was so broke. I was one of those people going to scoop kitchens in Alabama to try and get some bread to eat. You know what I mean? And
Right. Right.
so think about the psyche of that, from wasting $500 a night and not even think twice about it to come going to a scoop soup kitchen so your family could eat some bread. You know what I mean? And so I went to both extremes now. And so it's when I went to that extreme now, I was like, you know what? I didn't jump ship, but the ship was taken away from me. You know what I mean? And so that's where, out of this hunger, I birthed this ME Creative Agency. And it was really a birthing experience, because I was in pain, and I had creativity. And that's when I became an author too. I always say I wanted to write a Christian book. I didn't, I was too comfortable to do those things. It's when I was in those uncomfort levels, and that's when I became an author. That's when I launched an agency, and that's when and I'm slowly climbing back up, and I'm not saying I'm nowhere near where I used to be, but and now that's why I appreciate the clients that I'm working with, because I understand the struggle, because your struggle is my struggle. And so what I tell a potential client is, it's not that I'm up here and I'm looking at you and I'm trying to help you up. What I'm really trying to do is build us both up, because when we both go up, we're both going to be stronger, because I don't want you to fail just like you don't want me to fail. And then eventually we'll both get there. You know what I mean? And so for me, I look at it as a humbling experience that God had to put me through to say, okay, I gave you the gifts. I gave it to you, just wasting it. Even money, I was just wasting it. I was doing stupid stuff. Like really, I spent $500,000 a night and not even blink about it because I had it.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
so
Hey, let me cut you off real quick. Let me ask you this question, Mark. Do you find sometimes that you feel as though you care about your customers' business more than they do?
yes, because because it gives me pleasure to see that I'm doing it for you. When I was working those companies, I was making overtime, and I was, they would give me car ride homes, whatever. It was nice, but there was no passion behind it. I was just doing what I had to do to make money. This is different. Now there's a passion behind it, and now I'm actually up late at night and I'm happy about it. I'm waking up early in the morning and I'm happy about it. I'm no longer working anymore. I'm loving what I do. I have control. I could be in excuse this graphic. I could be in my underwear all day making money, and I'm happy. You know, and eventually I'll probably get an office space, and when things get a little bit more solid. But I'm taking my time with that, and that's how I tell my entrepreneur clients. A lot of people will say, "Oh, let me go get this office space." Why put yourself in that debt when you can use that money to build your brand? Start small, and that's what I'm doing. Wherever I go, I'm wearing my ME t-shirt. My wife yells at me all the time, like, "You don't got no other clothes." Like, this is my line. When Russell Simmons wears his Fat Farm, he's not wearing nothing else. It's Fat Farm all the way. And so that's taking pride of what you're going through, what you're building. If it's a product, if it's a service, if it's a business, whatever it is, you got to be fully invested. And for me, the rug was taken away from me. My safety net was removed by God from me. But for you, it may need you to take that bold move. You took that bold move, like you said, when you got to that casino. You're like, listen, it's not satisfying me, so I'm withdrawing myself from this. And a lot of us can't do that. And if you're gonna be a successful entrepreneur, you have to do that. There's no way you can do, for the most part. There's exceptions, but for the most part, you can't.
It is, and that's why in the description there's number one is your book link, the link to your book. I went and found it on Amazon, so the Amazon link is in the description of this video on YouTube or wherever you may be watching. So if you're watching, click through YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and go, check out Mark's book.
Yeah,
that's why I asked you about the book and everything, because I also wanted to throw it out. But I also got, I think 3 or 4 books that helped me the most, self-help wise. And my number one book and the number one go-to, and I read it every year, is Think and Grow Rich. And there's 2 different sections to Think and Grow Rich. Number one is the section on goal planning. And I think it's page 36. I want to say, I love that because it talk about things in the now, right? And when you write out your goals, because it's about the universe and making it all come together. And the second part was the same thing that you talked about, the same thing that I did, but Think and Grow Rich gave me the confidence. Reading that book gave me the confidence to walk away, burn that freaking bridge, because I didn't put in a 2-week resignation. I don't do that. I don't put in no 2-week resignation. I leave that day because I look at it like this. I'm as valuable to this company as you are to me. You're paying me money, and which is what I need, and I'm giving you my time and my expertise to do a job for you so that you can make more money for your company. So this is a partnership. And I'm ending it today because if you want to fire me, you're not going to say in 2 weeks you're fired.
No, they're not.
You're going to call security and be like, hey, we clean. Matter of fact, my last corporate job, because I did go back to work, and was 2011. Yeah. And January 26th or something like that, they called me up. They told me they packed up my desk and they would send me my stuff in a box.
Yeah, they didn't even want you to come in.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they for whatever reason, am I the big black guy that's gonna come in and fight everybody or shoot up the place? No. What they did not know though, Mark, is a year prior, I had already wrote my resignation. I wrote it and I had it dated for March 31st of 2011.
Yeah.
Show you how God worked. January 26th, they fired me ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I say it's a wrap, because if I let you quit, if I let you go ahead and resign, you're not going to get something that's beneficial. So what happened was, because they fired me on some BS, we had in Chicago, and I was living in Chicago at the time, we had one of those snowstorms, kind of like y'all just had over in that area, where you can't get around. We had what they call a thunder snow, and it came down like crazy. My car was in the garage, and the snow was midway up the garage, and our garage was behind our condo. So, and we lived in like the middle of the block. So, the snow plow, obviously when you have the stuff like that, that's kind of almost like a national emergency, because can't nobody move around. It's going to take time for the plows to get out, for the sidewalks to get done, for you to be driving. I didn't have a big truck. I had a little Saab, right? But here's the thing. They said, you can't get to work today. I worked 42.5 miles from my house. Yeah. I said, I cannot get to work, right? It'll take me probably 4 or 5 hours. I'm not going to be slipping and sliding to try to make you money, and risk my life like that. Not going to happen, right? Not going to happen. I'm saying, I'm sorry. They said, well, can't you shovel out? I said, yeah, that's not a problem to shovel out the garage, but I need to figure out which way down the alley. Should I go north or south down the alley, shoveling it until the plow, when the snow and the snow drifts are 6 foot. Now, how do you expect me to do this? I could even walk. Now, I could go take public transportation and walk 2 blocks to the bus and catch the bus to the train, but the buses were messed. The buses couldn't even get through. I don't know if you've been to Chicago, but like one of the main streets is Lakeshore Drive. Lakeshore Drive had cars stuck on Lakeshore Drive it's like cars being stuck on 34th Street in Manhattan.
Yeah.
You know, nothing's gonna get through. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. Cars were stuck for like 2 days. People were taking them water and food. Yeah. Right? And so they fired me. And I waited a few months. And that's when, before then, I didn't charge for Black folk hotspots. I had been saying that I was going to do it, but basically the company was basically funding what we were doing. So we were building up the thing, building it up. And so I said, okay, well, now I got to start charging. I started charging $1.95 a month. And I watched the people who have been posting, who I've been helping out, and they're, helping them grow their events and doing all these things. And some of those people haven't posted since then. I said, damn, $1.95, that's $2. Okay, I get it. A lot of those same people, I still see them. They on their 4th or 5th business. They still struggling and this, that, and the other. I'm like, look, when we all grow together, we all win. I made this price point so that it was affordable for everyone. That, because you can't afford $2 or $5 or $10 or $15 a month, you're in the wrong business. I guarantee you. It just is what it is. And so on the flip side of that, I started, when I applied for unemployment, I got it. And I called that my little stipend. And it kind of got me from here to here. And I remember they appealed. They exhausted every appeal they had because they didn't want to pay me unemployment. And I remember the last appeal, the judge asked the company. No, he asked me first. He said, Mr. Hodge, do you think there's any other reason that they fired you? And I said, Your Honor, with all due respect, I've never used this in my life. But it has to be because I'm Black. And I was like the only one on my team. No other reason. My sales was hit. My goals was hit, until they raised my goal like astronomically. And then I'm like, how did my goal raise? How did my goal go from $150,000 to $400,000 a month? Because I hit my goals and I was 100-something%. And all of a sudden my goal is 400,000 and nobody else's goal was raising like that.
Yeah.
But they thought I was stupid.
Yeah. And
I said, okay. And he said, your appeal to them is denied. Pay this man. So for 2 years, I called Obama. I used to call it Obama money. For 2 years, sorry. They paid me and I grew it. So when it exhausted, now I'm in a different light. And that's the thing that I tell people. We all go through struggles. And not everybody know. And that's why I created Black Folk Hospital. So I created this. I mean, we got the Vlad TVs and the what Charlemagne and them do, and they bring the celebrities on. I said, but who talks to business owners? Where do the business owners chat come from? So let's start.
That. And I appreciate that.
Let's start the interaction, because people watching this, they're gonna go, damn, I can relate to that. Okay, they're going through the same thing that I went through, or I'm going through. Okay, this is how you overcome it. You got to keep pushing through. And Think and Grow Rich, on that page, it said, burn that bridge. Yep. It talked about a general going into going into a war, a Navy general or Navy officer, and he knew that he was outmanned. And what he did was, when he ordered his troops off that boat, they looked back and the boat was on fire.
Yep.
He basically burnt the boat up so that they had nothing to do but to move forward. Yep. They could not retreat. And they ended up winning because they had no other nothing coming back.
Desperation is a heck of a motivator.
Hey, you got the next. So tell us about Grab Bag. I'm gonna take a few minutes, but I want you to talk about the agency and why people need to be contacting you and how they need to do it?
I'm glad you gave me that platform because I have to run out actually because I have a hard stop that I have to do now. But the agency basically, if you could go www.mecreativeagency.com. I don't know if you're going to have the link on the bottom of the video presentation, but go to www.mecreativeagency.com and then just go to the contacts and just send me an email. Just let me know that you went through, you saw this presentation, and that you're interested in learning more about what our branding strategy and how we can help you brand your business. Um, I'll look at your logo, I'll look at your website, I'll look at it, and I'll give you ideas about, and I'll walk you through our new client questionnaire. Um, and maybe I might even come up with some a special price point. I don't have anything right now, but I might come up with a special price point for whoever has seen this video. So just let me know that you've seen this video. Maybe I'll come up with a special price point depending on how many people are really interested in taking control of their brand. So yeah, go to mecreativeagency.com. And just go to the contacts form and hit contacts and send me an email. And also, you could even call the office. The office number is 203-572-1728. I have a lot of clients. Most of my clients are not in Connecticut. Most of my clients are not in Connecticut. For what I do, I don't need to be next to you. But if I do need to be next to you, I can make that happen. I could come visit your office. I could come visit you. And the way I work is I'm primarily the owner of the agency, but I have a network of people, especially from my industry, that I can reach out to. And so I reach out to my network of people, and we come up with a project. So whether you need marketing, whether you need design, whether you need app development, whether you need print design, printing. So we don't just do those things for you like other designers just because you need a poster. And we're going to design a poster for you. Why do you need that poster? How does that poster translate to your brand? So there's always that why question that we ask our clients. So how does how does that logo help you? Or how is it hurting you? And so we evaluate everything. And so that's the same thing that the big agencies do. I remember making mistakes, and that's very minimal that most people are not going to see. My creative director would say, "No, go fix that," because it did not it would be like a pixel away, but because it was a pixel away, it did not meet brand guidelines, and so they have a certain guideline that you have to follow for their company, for their customers to relate to them, and so you need to create those type of guidelines for yourself and for your company, for your product. And so that's what we work with you. We work through the process for you to get there, to give you that advantage that those big brands have. And you might think it's accidental that you see a logo a certain size, but it's no accidents in it. There's a lot of research and a lot of creativity that goes into it, and a lot of thought that goes into it, into every position that you see. Whether it's a flyer, let's use McDonald's again because we've been using them. If it's a flyer or a TV ad, or if it's a radio commercial, it's going to be a unified message and a unified presentation. That's what ME Creative Agency wants to do for you, is help you build that brand and become your creative partner. And believe me, the prices are nowhere near what I should be charging. I have an advertising book that they call it the I can't get the name of it right now, but the ethical guidelines of pricing. And so I use those pricings, those ethical guidelines, and I go below the ethics because the industry wants you to charge a certain amount so that you will lowball them. I don't go too far because I want to keep those ethical values for people like me that are doing what we're doing. But I understand that the target market I'm targeting may not be able to afford those prices, even for startups that the book recommends. So I have a plan, and I've worked with clients before that they benefit, like you said. I saw this opportunity, and I'm presenting this opportunity for other entrepreneurs to benefit from this because there's no other agency that has your interest in mind quite like I do. So um, if you want to reach out to me, please send me an email, and also please give me a phone or a call and I'll talk to you, and I'll put you through the new client questionnaire. Unfortunately, I do have to run, and I'm actually running 30 minutes late. But if you would want to do a schedule part two to this, I would be more than happy to do that. I'm glad that you had me, and I didn't even touch on the fact that I'm looking for a sales force. Um, I'm still looking for advice. Someone gave me advice of, Mark, instead of going out there trying to recruit clients yourself, why don't you develop a sales force, because you have a great product? Why don't you go out there and hire people to give them commission to come up with to get these packages? So I am looking for a sales force. If you're a professional salesperson, shoot me your email, info@mecreativeagency.com, info@mecreativeagency.com. Send me, or if you know any salespeople, have them send my email, and we work out some sort of compensation package as far as commission. I can't pay your salary yet, but I could definitely do a commission plan with you. And so this idea, I think, is unique, and a lot of people I've met is like, this is great, and the clients that we serve are saying it's great, but I need to go out further. And I've been doing it myself for the last 3 years, and this is growth process. And I'm like, you know what would I tell my clients? And so what I would tell my clients is to hire a sales force. And I'm taking advice from people that's been successful too. They tell me, get a sales force together and have them go out and market the product for your services for you. And so I am looking for a sales force as well. Again, I don't mean to rush. I'm 30 minutes late.
No.
But
Handle your business. Hey, schedule another time. In the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, we'll circle back. We'll finish up as much time as you need. We'll keep doing. We can do these weekly. Whatever it is, just schedule it. Handle your business. I know you got a roll, but I'm gonna tell you, put an ad on Craigslist for that salesperson though.
Yeah.
And I told you my brain always work on my solutions, but put an ad on Craigslist, and you'll be amazed at the calls and the emails you get, and you'll find somebody who's out there looking to make the extra dollar, 100% commission. Hey man, go ahead and rock out, and I'm gonna finish this up. And you can go ahead and drop out, and I'll finish this up. I'll wrap it up. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you again. And if you need me, mecreativeagency.com or info@mecreativeagency.com. And you can also call 203-572-1728. Thank you again.
Great combo, bro. Take it easy.
All right.
There you have it. That's what we do at Support Black Business TV. You got DA, you got Vlad TV, you got all these other things, and always talk about celebrity stuff and this, that, and other. But now we're talking about the stuff that can help us grow. Right? These are the struggles, the different talks, the natural talks between business owners, just like you, if you were watching those things. But definitely hit him up. He sent you he gave you the websites and things like that. If you're looking for a job and you 100% commission, it's not bad because you get paid when you work. Click the link below, get a shirt, Support Black Business TV. Support Black Business a t-shirt or hoodie is up to you. You can find a link in the description below. Go to blackfolkhotspots.com and create a profile if you're a black business owner or a black business professional, which means that you sell stuff, right? Insurance agents, investment agents, you're a manager at McDonald's or Pizza Hut or whatever it is that we want to help you grow. We want to put you out there. If you're a parts guy or a store, a service writer, whatever it is. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe and like and share this video. That's the only way we can you can help us. That's the only way we can, not the only way we can grow, but it really helps us grow, helps us get more viewership, which helps us get more exposure for black business as we try to do. As we're on our goal to 1,000 of these videos. This was 94. We got 95 coming up tomorrow. So subscribe to our channel at YouTube, youtube.com/BFHS network. And that way you'll be updated when the new video is either posted or we got one scheduled. So you can take the time out and watch it. Maybe, you can catch a few nuggets and help us out. His profile on Black Folk Hotspots is in the description below. You can find a link to his book as well that he wrote. If you want to support him that way, it's all in the description of the video. Thank you guys. Support black business. That's what we're all about. CEO, Black Folk Hotspots. You can follow me directly at GI Operation. That's GI Operation, one word, on Twitter, or follow the network at BFHS Network, at BFHS Network. Peace. CEO, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.